of the crowd, the flash of cameras. Two men in the ring, one rising, one collapsing. Down he goes! Oh, he's hurt! For years, that sound meant one thing. Tyson had struck again, the most feared man in the world, a fighter so explosive that opponents lost before the first punch. But in 1992, for the first time, the man on the floor was him. The unbeatable champion was beaten by fate. The youngest heavyweight king in history, convicted of assault, sentenced to 6 years in prison. The man who had built an empire with his fists would now live behind bars under a number 92335. And the fight that waited for him there? No gloves, no rules, no referees, only power, psychology, and survival. From luxury to lockdown. Just months earlier, Mike Tyson was untouchable. Mansions, Rolls-Royces, private jets, millions cheering as he walked to the ring, the soundtrack of fear behind him. He had everything, and he lost it all overnight. The judge's hammer dropped like a knockout punch. Gone were the velvet ropes and the Vegas lights, replaced by steel bars and echoing corridors. At Indiana's Plainfield Correctional Facility, nobody cared about titles. Here, fame didn't buy you respect. You earned it, or you fought for it. Some inmates watched him with awe. Others saw opportunity. To take on the baddest man alive would make them a legend. The guards knew the risk. Keeping Mike Tyson locked among men who survived on dominance? It was like locking a tiger in a cage full of wolves. So they placed him in protective custody, 23 hours a day in a 6 by 9 foot cell, 1 hour for exercise. Alone, silent, forgotten. The crowd's roar was gone, only the clanging of doors remained. Every day began the same, a tray through the slot, a voice shouting orders, a world shrinking around him. The battle inside his head. For the first time, Tyson couldn't fight his way out. The power that made him king was useless here. He had to learn a new kind of strength, discipline without destruction. He started reading. Philosophy, religion, history, Malcolm X, Sun Tzu, Machiavelli. He began to see violence differently. It wasn't chaos, it was control. He once said in a letter, "If I can't control my rage, I'll never control my life." So he turned inward. Meditation replaced aggression. Books replaced punches. The ring was gone, but the war continued, this time in his mind. And yet, prison is never peaceful. No matter how calm you are, someone will test you. The beginning of the pressure. Tyson's calm didn't go unnoticed. Some inmates respected it, others mistook it for weakness. They whispered behind his back. He's soft now. Lost his edge. The kind of talk that turns into something dangerous. In prison, respect is currency, and it can vanish overnight. All it takes is one man to challenge you, and one moment to lose control. Tyson could feel the tension building. Every meal, every shower, every walk to the yard. Eyes followed him, waiting for a mistake, for the first crack in the armor. He told himself to stay calm, to ignore it, to rise above it. But the air itself was electric, charged with anger and ego. Because in a place where men live by dominance, peace is just the calm before the storm. And that storm was already forming. It started with chaos, a fight in the yard, a flash of metal. One inmate stabbed, another bleeding on the pavement. Sirens blared, orders screamed. And then, silence. The prison went into full lockdown. Every door slammed shut. No yard, no library, no movement. Every man trapped inside a steel box, 1,000 tempers simmering in the heat. For most inmates, lockdown meant waiting. For Tyson, it meant war, a battle with his own thoughts. Days became nights, nights became days. The lights never turned off. The air was thick, the heat unbearable. He tried reading, but the words blurred. He tried meditating, but the screams from other cells tore through the silence. When you live in darkness long enough, your mind starts to turn on you. He'd wake up drenched in sweat, unsure if it was morning or midnight. He counted the cracks in the wall, the scratches on the floor, the echoes of footsteps. Time itself became the enemy. That's when the taunting began. The voice. It started small, just words, from a few cells down, mocking, sharp, calculated. Bet you miss your mansion now, champ. Tyson ignored it. Silence was strength. Then the voice grew bolder, day after day. Hey, Tyson, where's your gold now? Your hands still work without gloves? You only hit women, not real men. Each insult was a match thrown into a powder keg. The guards heard it. Everyone did, but no one stopped it. They wanted to see what would happen, whether the monster inside the champ still existed. And Tyson? He was fighting harder than he ever had before. Not against the man shouting, but against himself. He knew what one punch could do. He knew the price. One slip, and he'd lose what little freedom he had left. So he breathed. In, out, control, discipline. But inside, something was shifting. The silence was cracking. The old Mike was stirring. The beast reawakens. Every day the voice pushed harder. Every day Tyson felt the temperature rise. In the air, in his blood, in his soul. His mind flashed back to the ring. The smell of sweat and adrenaline. The roar of the crowd. The clean final sound of a knockout punch. Now those same hands, his weapons, his gift, hung useless by his side. He looked at them sometimes, flexing slowly, whispering to himself, "These hands built everything, and destroyed it too." The longer the lockdown lasted, the thinner the line between control and chaos became. 3 weeks in, fights started breaking out everywhere, men snapping from boredom, from fear, from heat, guards shouting, doors slamming. Each sound hitting Tyson's nerves like a jab to the head. And the voice kept coming back, poking, laughing, waiting for him to break. "Come on, champ, show us that right hand, or are you just another washed-up has-been?" Tyson sat on his bunk, fists trembling, eyes locked on the wall. The pressure was unbearable. Every instinct screamed to unleash it, to end it all in one clean, perfect blow. He had spent his life being told that violence solved everything. Now he was learning what it meant to hold it back. But everyone has a limit, and Tyson's was about to be tested. The final straw. The lockdown entered its 4th week. The air felt thick enough to choke on. The noise never stopped. Shouting, pounding, the smell of sweat and metal. And then one day, during the limited shower rotation, it happened again. That same voice. Louder, crueler. This time, it crossed the line. The man mocked Tyson's crime. The reason he was there. The one subject that could cut deeper than any knife. "You like hurting women, Mike? Try someone your own size." Every sound around him disappeared. Every thought vanished. In that instant, the fighter, the predator, was back. The muscles in his shoulders tensed, his jaw locked, his breathing slowed. Even the guards could feel it, that quiet before the explosion. The kind of silence that only happens when violence is seconds away. The man laughed again, and Tyson turned his head, slowly, deliberately, and looked straight at him. Nothing was said, no warning, no threat. Just that look. The look every opponent had seen before they fell. The storm was ready to break. For days, the air in the cell block had felt like a live wire. One spark away from detonation. The inmates felt it, the guards felt it. And Tyson, sitting on the edge of his bunk, fists tight, eyes dark, knew it was coming. He'd tried patience. He'd tried silence. He'd tried to be the better man. But in prison, kindness looks like weakness. And weakness invites war. The taunts had gone too far. The mocking voice had crossed the line again, this time with words that cut deeper than any blade. The insult wasn't just about Tyson's past. It was about his manhood, his legacy, his pride. That was it. No warning, no build-up, just the instinct that had made him champion and would now make him legend one last time. The punch that shook the prison. It happened near the showers in a blind spot where the cameras couldn't see clearly. A few inmates, a couple of guards, all close enough to hear the snap of history. The man sneered. Tyson stepped forward. One move, one blur of motion. And then, crack, a single right cross, fast, precise, the kind of strike that ends careers. And this time, it ended silence. Witnesses said the man dropped instantly. No stumble, no sound, just a lifeless fall to the concrete, blood on the floor, teeth shattered. The entire cell block froze. One inmate later said, "It was like seeing lightning hit a man." Another, "He didn't even swing wild. It was perfect, like he never stopped training." For a few seconds, there was nothing. No noise, no movement. Tyson stood still, no celebration. No emotion, just breathing heavy, staring down at what he'd done. Then he quietly said, "He asked for it," and walked toward the wall, hands up, waiting for the guards. The aftershock. The sirens wailed. Guards swarmed the block. The inmate was unconscious, his face collapsed from the impact. Medical reports later showed 2 missing teeth, a fractured cheekbone, and a concussion so severe he remained hospitalized for days. Investigators estimated the punch's force at 1,200 pounds, almost identical to Tyson's peak performance in the ring. After years without training, without equipment, his power hadn't faded. It had just been waiting. Security officers filed reports, but something strange stood out, a 17-minute delay between the initial hit and the official response. 17 minutes. Enough time for guards to observe, enough time for word to spread through the prison like wildfire. Some said the guards let it happen. Others said they simply froze. But one truth was undeniable. They had just witnessed the most dangerous man on earth remind everyone why he once ruled it. A perfect knockout. The footage from that day, what little was recorded, became legend among prison staff. Experts later reviewed the strike frame by frame. Same hip torque, same shoulder alignment. The follow-through, flawless. Even without gloves, Tyson's technique was art. Violent, controlled, devastating. A boxing analyst who later saw the tape described it simply, "That wasn't a prison fight. That was a world champion delivering a clinic." The victim survived, but barely. 3 reconstructive surgeries, permanent nerve damage, and a silence that lasted the rest of his sentence. After that day, no one tested Tyson again. No one even spoke his name, unless it was with respect. He had proven once and for all that even stripped of fame, money, and freedom, he was still Iron Mike. The price of peace. What followed was surprisingly calm. Tyson was placed in solitary for several weeks, but official records later described the fight as self-defense under provocation. He didn't argue, he didn't rage, he just accepted it. When a prison psychiatrist asked how he felt, Tyson replied, "Peaceful." Because for him, that punch wasn't just revenge, it was release. A single act that rebalanced the fragile order of his world. And within the walls of that facility, the message was clear. Mike Tyson didn't need to speak to command respect. He didn't need to fight again. One punch had said everything. After that day, Plainfield Correctional Facility changed. You could feel it in the air, heavier, quieter, more cautious. No one taunted Mike Tyson anymore. Men who once whispered his name now looked away when he passed. Even the guards moved differently, polite, measured, aware. Because inside those walls, everyone knew what had happened. It wasn't just a fight. It was a warning. One punch, one man down. And the most feared fighter alive had just proved he was still exactly that. Tyson didn't brag. He didn't smile. He went back to his cell, picked up his books, and resumed his routine. Push-ups, reading, silence. The storm had passed. and left behind an eerie calm. The champion had found something he never had before: control through fear. A different kind of strength. The next months changed him more than any victory ever had. He wasn't just training his body anymore, he was training his mind. Tyson read philosophy, religion, and ancient warfare. He underlined quotes from Marcus Aurelius and Malcolm X, writing notes in the margins about discipline, fate, and redemption. He meditated daily. He even fasted for days at a time, trying to purify his thoughts. For the first time, his strength wasn't about domination, it was about restraint. He told a prison counselor, "You don't understand how hard it is for a man like me to stay calm. Every day I fight myself." That fight against ego, against rage, became his new form of combat. No gloves, no ring, just self-mastery. By the time his sentence neared its end, Mike Tyson wasn't just a boxer anymore. He was a man rebuilt by pain, isolation, and reflection. And when those gates finally opened in 1995, the world didn't get back the same man who went in. They got back something sharper, colder, wiser, a man who had learned to master the monster inside. The return of Iron Mike. The first time Tyson walked back into the spotlight, the world held its breath. 3 years away from the ring. 3 years of whispers, doubt, and scandal. Was the beast still there? Had prison broken him or reborn him? It took one fight to find out. One round, one punch, the same speed, the same precision, the same terrifying power. Fans went wild. Commentators said it looked like a man possessed, but those who knew his story saw something different. He wasn't possessed. He was in control, the very thing he had learned behind bars. Promoters leaned into the myth. The prison knockout became part of his legend. The whispers of that single strike in Plainfield echoed across arenas. Facing Tyson wasn't just a sporting event anymore. It was a test of nerve, a reminder that this man had lived violence in its rawest form. And deep down, every opponent knew, if Tyson could survive that, nothing in the ring could scare him. The legend behind the walls. Decades later, when asked about prison, Tyson didn't smile. He didn't justify or dramatize it. He said quietly, "It made me who I am. Prison broke me down and built me again." He never forgot that one punch, not because of what it did to the other man, but because of what it showed him about himself, that his power was both his gift and his curse. That control was the truest strength. That peace is never free. He'd go on to rebuild his life, fight again, lose again, rise again. But the myth of that day, the punch that silenced a prison, would never fade. It became part of his story, part of what made Mike Tyson more than a boxer, more than a headline, more than a man. It made him timeless. Because even now, decades later, when you hear that name, Iron Mike, you don't just think of knockouts or belts. You think of that look, that silence, that single moment when the whole world remembered what true, controlled power looks like. So now, you tell me, does Tyson's restraint through all those years, breaking it only once, make that prison knockout more terrifying or more powerful? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want more stories of warriors who refuse to break, subscribe, because this is just the beginning.